Naveen, welcome to the cave. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Exciting times, my friend. We just had the Mighty Ducks Game Changer Season 2 premiere a few weeks ago. We see you as a newcomer, Jace. How excited are you that Season 2 is finally out?
Oh, it's so great. I'm super excited about having it out. I mean, all my buddies are watching it and they're all having great reactions. And I just watched episode 5 with my family. So, it's really great having it out and kind of seeing, all the hard work that went into it, kind of, get to see the result of that. It's really cool.
We're gonna jump more into the season in a few minutes, but I was trying to do some research on you. You're young into the game and everything. I want to know, like, what made you get into the industry? What made you get into the acting world?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. My little brother, when he was a while back, when I was a little younger, he was doing like acting lessons. And he came back one day and he was like, guys, like I learned how to fake my death today in class. And he showed us, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And I was like, my brother can't be doing something cooler than me. So I was like, I gotta get into that. So I started going and taking the same lessons that he was taking, and I just got really into it. And then after like a couple of years of pressuring, my telling my parents, like, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. They finally kind of gave in, and then, here I am now.
Okay. What's the age gap with you and your brother? What's he doing now? Is he in the acting game also?
No, he's not, but hopefully he will be soon. I have two brothers. Okay. I have one that's 2 years younger than me and one that's 4 years younger than me. So
that's awesome. What else influenced you to the acting world? Is there somebody that you look up to that you try to not like model yourself after, but like study his work or her work to try to make your craft better?
Not so much actors, but I really, really like looking at directors and kind of the way shots are done. Like I really like looking at Wes Anderson movies just because of like the unique way that he kind of, pans the camera and different things like that. I find that super, super interesting. And so yeah, that's definitely someone that I really look up to. And even in school I'm taking a photography class. So, I kind of look at the way that he like formats his films, and I kind of like try to like imitate that. I mean, obviously not as well, but that's what I try to do.
Would you want to work behind the scenes someday?
Maybe. I mean, I always find that super, super interesting. I mean, especially when we were shooting ducks, I was constantly, asking, the APs and all that, just kind of like how things are done, because I find that super, super interesting.
What's your ultimate goal, do you think?
I mean, hey, I would love to just to be able to work in a lot of different meaningful projects. And I think one of the main reasons I got into acting, other than, the brother story, is because like I see how much of an impact it can have just on people. So like I think that the end goal for me is just to kind of be able to leave a lasting impact.
You've checked off the sports role. Is there any like a certain role you kind of hope you get your hands on one day?
I don't know. I think it would be really cool to do like an action movie. I've always kind of wondered what how those are done. So I think that like that would be super sweet. Like I don't even know what type, like I like the Jumanji comes to mind, like totally like that type of thing. Like I think that those type of movies would be really cool.
You mentioned action movie. What's Naveen's favorite action movie?
Favorite action movie? I gotta go. I think Die Hard, maybe.
That's mine. So I was hoping you were gonna say that.
There we go. That's perfect.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So Mighty Ducks Season 2 Game Changers. How did it feel to join the Mighty Ducks franchise and the Disney family?
Oh, it's so cool. I mean, I grew up watching these movies with my two younger brothers. Like, I
Mm.
remember, I went to my grandparents' house and we literally binge watched all the movies in one night. So like when I heard that I was going to be a part of this show, it was just like it's such an honor. And especially getting to work with such a talented bunch of kids and adults. It's really cool.
Mm. Are you a fan of hockey? Have you ever ice skated before?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Before coming on the show, I was not the greatest of skaters, but I definitely was kind of into hockey. I'm from DC, so a little bit of a Caps fan. I've been to some Caps games and stuff like that. So, you know, definitely into it.
Mm. Let's talk about your role as Jace now. What drew you to the role? Tell us a little bit about your audition. Do you remember your audition for this?
Yeah, I kind of remember like when I first read the role, and I was like, wow, like I really resonate with this character and kind of what he's going through.
Mm.
Um, I think like, Jace and I have a lot in common. So I think, you know, getting to read for him is just like it's like so cool just because I feel like I'm like kind of playing myself a little bit, you know what I mean?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome. What do you how do you describe his character, the character?
I think that he is kind of he's a little bit he feels almost like betrayed a little bit.
Mm.
And I think that kind of in the earlier episodes, you see him kind of like rejecting everyone else and stuff like that. But I think he's kind of just like hiding his true self just because he doesn't feel like, like that's accepted.
Mm. For the first few episodes that I've seen, he kind of looks a little stubborn too, in a way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah. And I got, like I said, like I got a little bit of stubbornness in me too. So, that was fun to play. Um, it, like I said, it was just such an amazing time.
Mm. What do you think this character has taught you about yourself, and both as like an artist
Hmm.
and a human? What do you think he's taught you?
Cool. So loaded question, man. Uh, I think he's just kind of taught me to just like to be myself, really.
Mm.
Kind of just like accept, you know, who you are and kind of like, let other people appreciate that because, um, like as you see in the show, like, Sophie appreciates Jay. So
Mm.
no matter who you are, like there is always going to be someone out there that appreciates that.
Mm. You mentioned at first like your skating skills weren't that great going into this. Now, like, what do you think was the biggest challenge, like playing this character and connecting with him?
Other than the skating,
Yeah.
um, just like it feels like a lot of the time in the first few episodes he is like really stubborn and stuff like that. And
Mm.
like I said, like I am a little bit stubborn myself, but it's difficult to like always be so like upset and brooding and moody
Mm.
and stuff like that. So like that was difficult because I always kind of had to like switch on to that type of Jace. But as you'll see, I think that kind of changes and will change.
Mm. I had like I mentioned earlier before we went out the air, I had a few cast members on. They mentioned like in season one, they went through like a little boot camp. Did you have to go through that also?
Oh, their boot camp had nothing on my boot camp.
Really?
I'll just say that. So, these guys, they all had a season one. So they were a little more prepared than I was.
Mm.
And I came out, a little bit later than they did. I think I came out like a week later than they did to, for the boot camp. So
Yeah.
I was already like behind. And I was like a terrible skater. So I had like 2 weeks of just every day like hockey for like 3 hours. Like my ankles were killing me. I was like ice packs after every day. Like it was totally intense. But I mean, now like I consider myself a pretty good skater and
Mm.
some of my friends play hockey, and I can kind of go toe to toe with them now. So that's really
Mm.
cool.
What goes through you? Like, how do you separate like the hockey scenes, preparing for those, and then how do you prepare for like the regular scenes being filmed?
The hockey scenes it's kind of a lot more like it's less about like I think less about it in like acting and more just like I can't fall down in this scene.
Right.
So like while I was out shooting, I kind of had like a coach. And so before I would go and shoot some hockey scenes, I would kind of explain the scene to her and kind of like what maneuvers I needed to do. So I would just practice those like on my own on the ice before those scenes. And then, with the real scenes, I would just look at the lines like 100 times beforehand and just kind of just like break them apart and kind of
Mm.
understand them.
Now joining the cast and everything, now like how do you describe now the chemistry with you and the rest of the cast, being the new guy?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I love these guys. It's like, I had to leave my school and my friends, which is like a little disappointing, but as soon as I got out there, it was just like I felt like it was like a home away from home. They were all so welcoming. And like I honestly forget sometimes that there was a season one just because like I didn't feel like I was out of place. I didn't feel like I was like the new guy. I just felt like I was, a part of the team immediately.
Mm. Now, Mitch, Josh plays your dad on the show. Describe now like that chemistry, because there's you guys have like some of those scenes where it kind of feels like you guys like butt heads a little bit, but
Yeah.
he loves you though. The dad loves you in the show.
Yeah. I mean, in the show, we definitely, like you said, we butt heads
Mm.
a bunch. But behind the camera, I mean, Josh and I have like a great relationship. Like I would look forward to every scene that I had with him just because he's like such a nice guy. And one of the scenes I think in episode 3, like we had this like huge argument scene, and like between takes we were just like laughing and like having a great time. So like off camera and on camera, it's like a completely different relationship.
Yeah. Was it easy building that chemistry with you two, father son?
Yeah, I think so. I mean he was like that with everybody. I mean,
Mm.
he's really one of the nicest guys I've ever met. It's hard to not like him. He's amazing. So yeah, I mean, it was super easy building that chemistry with him.
I know you can't give us spoilers or anything, but like, how would you describe Jace's journey throughout the season?
Okay. So like it's very obvious. He kind of starts off the season like very, very like shut down and kind of like dismissive of everybody else. But I think kind of as we're starting to see right now, Sophie kind of like helps bring out like the good in him. And
Mm.
so like, yeah, I think you'll see some of that going forward. I don't want to say too much. I'm
Right, right,
scared
right.
to say anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I think that Sophie does kind of bring out the best of him
yeah.
in the season.
If we see a season 3, do you want Jace to hopefully go to Minneapolis and join the Ducks?
I mean, hey, like I wouldn't mind. you know, um, you know, I hanging out with these guys and shooting with those guys was just so amazing. And I hope there's a season 3 because that would be, I would love to relive that.
Mm. So far we've seen 5 episodes. Episode 5 got aired earlier today. How many episodes you guys filmed for the whole season? Was it 10?
10, yeah.
All right. So now, what's next for you? Are you any other projects you are allowed to tell us that you got coming up with?
Not really as of right now. Kind of still shooting for stuff, seeing what hits, but as of right now, not much.
No. Has there been any word about season 3 from Disney or not yet?
I have no idea. I have no idea. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Right. Naveen, lastly, how can the listeners, the viewers of the show find you on social media, keep up with you?
I got an Instagram, and that's kind of really all I post on. So It's just my name, Naveen Paddock. Go follow me on that.
All right, I mean, this was great. Thank you for giving a few minutes today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.